AM 560. The Answer.
They would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras.
No, they don't. There is no such thing. There is no infrastructure. It's used as a money laundering scheme. You pay a couple of crooked rat politicians in Honduras, you give them a little spiff, and the money comes right back here.
They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa. We are not doing that.
They don't do it either. They never did. Nobody has any accounting of where that money is. I have an idea. Look in the coffers of the Democrat mafia. That's where I think it is. But I'm skeptical. Therefore, I am.
We found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network, the Open Society network. It's other funding networks, the Arabella funding network, the Tides funding network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country. Mr. Hans-Jörg Wyss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem. This is not just a story about violence and chaos.
They're pouring money because it's an arbitrage. They open up a little bit of money, for them a little bit of money, $10 million. They take out $1 billion in our government-funded money through all this guts, through all this fraud, right out in front of you. So when I see Scott Besson, who I really like, he tries to appeal to the individuality of what a republic is supposed to be. I don't think he understands. It's not a republic. It's a mafia now.
We call on the moderate Democrats in the Senate to be heroes. Be heroes. Break away from the hive of radicalism and do something for the American people, because we are starting to cut into muscle here. We believe that the shutdown may start costing the U.S. economy up to $15 billion a day. And this is a decision the Democrats are making. And one of the reasons that they are not being held to task is because the mainstream media is not coming at them the way they would have if the Republicans were willing to keep the government closed. It is a very simple decision. Mike Johnson passed a clean CR. Leader Thune has the clean CR. 3 Democrats have voted for it. And right here, right now, I am calling for the moderate Democrats to be heroes, and reopen the government for the American people.
You might as well yell it in the Grand Canyon. There are no moderate Democrats. There's a Democrat mafia, and they can't wait to turn on the spigots. That's how they fill up the spending. That's how they fill up their coffers. That's how they fill up the corruption. That's the kickback scheme. I mean, everybody knows it. And as far as the media goes, how's the Chicago media? How are they reporting that?
Darn close. But ICE agents are staying at the Residence Inn by Marriott on that Wilmette-Skokie border. It would be a real shame if folks knew that, and if they called the Residence Inn by Marriott, tell them how they feel about...
But then again, how did Chicago media cover his grandpappy? How did they cover the grandpappy?
Ed Hanley ran the hotel and restaurant employees union like his personal extortion empire. In the 1970s and 80s, Chicago was already notorious for corruption, but Hanley took it to another level. He weaponized his union's pension funds and strike capabilities to blackmail anyone who crossed him. What started as simple labor disputes evolved into full-scale political control. Hanley coordinated with organized crime families, manipulating city contracts worth...
No, he was a good guy. Represented the SEIU. We'll be back.
This is the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.